Everyone, if you're at home or wherever you are, it's quiet now. You can unmute your mic so that you can be able to talk. If you want to talk, right? So you can unmute your mic. Unmute, I did not say mute, unmute. Isn't like, let it be the way it is. Okay, so, okay, let me share the screen with you. Then you'll tell me that if you are able to see the screen, then you'll tell me. Let me share this. Try and share the screen. Yes, this one. Can you see the screen? Hello, can you see the screen?
No.
You can't see any question there. Okay. You can't see this question that I'm sharing.
Now I can see it.
Okay.
We can't see it. We can't see it.
Okay, let me. But on my side, it's saying that it's sharing. Okay, let's wait. Maybe it will show, maybe it will load or what. Okay, anyone who can see the screen that I'm sharing?
Myself, I can see it.
And that's another.
We can't see.
Okay, let me cancel and then I share again. Okay, I just cancelled. Now, let me cancel the screen. And then I'll share it again. Yes, now I cancel. Let me share again. Okay, it's coming. Be patient, it's coming. Okay, I'm trying to share, guys. Just be patient, Niana, then the screen will show. Sharing something, it takes time because you have to set some click there and there, but then it shows soon. I'm working on that. And okay. Yes, guys. I'm sorry about that. It was just something on the other side. So I'm I'm back now. So we can continue. I'm going to share the screen right now so that you can be able to see it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to share the screen right now. Okay. Yes. Can you see a screen now?
No.
Okay. Wait. I think it's going to appear soon. Right now, still nothing.
Yes, we can see it.
Or is it question 2.4? Can you see that one? Question 2.4, can you all see that screen? Question 2.4. I'm sharing a screen written. Which screen can you see? Okay. Stop sharing. And then I share again. And then now, which screen can you see?
Question what?
Question 2.4, right? Okay, yeah.
Yes, question.
Okay, then that's better now. So we can start now. We are already 30 minutes late, but then it's fine. So this question 2.4, I'm not sure which question paper it was from, because even myself, I just got a pick of this question paper. So on this one, we are focusing on the high and low method on unit 2, right? So here in this case, you are given a business, Tandimanda Pty Ltd, and then they say that it has the following cost at two total cost levels, right? So we are given that the units and the cost. So before again we do this thing and this question, so let's go back to the high and low method. Just the principles and the basics of the high and low method. We said that when you do the high and low method, right, you'll be given information. You can be given information for the whole year. On months, maybe they can give you from January to December, the information that, okay, on this month, we incurred this much cost and then we produced this much, right? But then because we're using the high and low method, you'll only focus on the highest and the lowest, right? So if you focus on the highest and the lowest, it means that all the other activities that are in between, maybe from number 2 to from February to October, to November actually, those that are in between, you just disregard those things and then focus on the highest, right? So in this case, you're given the two activity levels, meaning that they already took for you the high and the low. So there's no need for you to take something, but then you must know that the paper had that if you're given the high and low method, you focus on the highest and the lowest. So in this case, you're already given that, okay, this is the highest, this is the lowest, but then they did not write that, they just gave you, so you'll just assume that this is the highest, this is the lowest, all right? But okay, another thing concerning the high and low method is that when you're doing the high and low method again, you must be able, when you look at your information, that, okay, in this information that I'm given, these are these variables. Okay, I have to find two variables, which are the independent and the dependent variables. Okay, so when do we say a variable, something is dependent and then something is independent at the time? So firstly, we will say that something is dependent if it depends on the other, right? So in the information that you are given, you'll be given that info, and then you have to find a variable. So which variable are you going to say that it's dependent? It's the one that depends on the other. For example, in this case, you are given activity level and the total cost. Yeah, okay. Guys, for now, can we mute the microphones? You mute your microphone. Everyone, just mute your microphone so that we can avoid some noise then. You mute your microphone. Just click on that microphone so that it can be cancelled, so that we can avoid noises there. All right. So in this case, you're given that, okay, there's an activity level in terms of units, and then you're given the total cost in terms of rands. So you have to identify that, okay, in this information, I have to find independent variable and dependent. So let's start by checking which one here are we going to say that it's dependent? We're going to say that the variable that is dependent is that one that will depend on the other, meaning that we are going to have two cases here. In this case, I given the units, okay, fine. So we are going to say that, okay, to have the cost, we are supposed to produce the units, right? Let's assume that you are producing. To have the cost, you're supposed to produce the unit. It means that for you to have the cost, you cannot have a cost without producing. So that's the case that, okay, you'll say that your cost depends on the units. Then therefore, your cost is dependent on the units. Then meaning that the units are not dependent on the cost. You have to start by producing the units before you can have the cost. So here we are going to say that the cost independent, or the cost is dependent, the activity level independent, right? But then it was not important in this example, just for the background, because you may never know what you can be given, either a test or exam or sub or whatsoever that you can write. So you must be able to see that. Okay, you must be able to see that, right? So, okay, then given them the information again that the variable cost per unit is constant in this activity range, right? Okay, meaning that variable cost, it's a constant, then it doesn't change. Okay, it's fine. Then they say that there is an increase of 18,000 in the total fixed cost when activity level exceeds 40,000. We all know that a fixed cost, they are supposed to remain the same, regardless of the production, or we produce how much, or then what happens. Fixed costs are supposed to remain the same. But then in this case, they say that they will increase if we exceed a production of 18,000 units, or a production of 40,000 units, then they will increase by 18,000. So for that. And then you're required is saying that what are the total cost at an activity level of 36,000 units? Then what do you have to do to get the right answer here? This is the high and low method, right? You do not try to take shortcuts and then maybe because this 800, this 36,000, if you can check, it falls between the highest and the lowest activity. So it means that you cannot just easily be able to find that without applying the correct principle. So using the high and low method, what are you supposed to do here? Using the high and low method, you are supposed to take the highest minus the lowest, right? But then here there's a condition that if the production exceeds 40,000 units, then there'll be an increase in the fixed cost. So you cannot just go and do the high and low method without considering that, right? So how were you supposed to answer this kind of a question? To save time, because here we are doing questions and then we are just going to look at the question and then we go to the solution, and then after looking at the solution, then you understand the solution, then that's when we can maybe consider different scenarios, or okay, maybe if they did something different from the one on the solution, on the question, and then they ask something else, then how are we going to consider that? So in this case, you're given that, okay, this fixed cost, they would increase by 18,000 if we exceed 40,000 units, then calculate the total cost at an activity level of 36,000. And then if you check, 36,000 is in between the high and the low. So it means that we're calculating something just in between. So how are you supposed to do that? I hope, okay, the screen, you can see it. And then there's a solution. And if you can check the solution proper, we are given part A, okay, then you are able, they calculate there We are supposed to start one with, I can't see who's having a microphone that is active. Can you please try to switch it off because it's making some kind of noise. You just raise a hand. Okay, if you want to ask, you can unmute and then ask, because even if you raise a hand, I can't see because myself, I'm only focused on the screen. So if you check there, you are supposed to say that using the hand-law method, the high of the independent minus the low of the independent, and then the high of the dependent minus the low of that. But then now, because you're having a condition, then the units that you have to calculate to, they are less than. Check here. They said that the fixed cost will increase if we exceed 40,000 units. But then the units that we are calculating for, they are 36,000, meaning that the units that we are calculating for, we are supposed to exclude that increase in the fixed cost of 18,000. So you'll go and take your cost there, the highest actually, because you assume that on the highest, that's when we produced more. And then the high in this case of the units, it's 48,000, and then it's above 40,000, then meaning that the 18,000 increase in the fixed cost, it's already included. So you have to exclude it yourself. So you'll come and say 940,000 minus the 18,000 because it's included now, right? And then that's when now you can say minus the low, and then the low of the dependent of the cost, it was 760. Then on the solution, you see that's what they did. Okay, then on the units, then there's no need for you to exclude anything because units are units. Then you'll say the high minus the low. Then you'll say the difference of the cost divided by the difference of the units. Then you'll get your variable cost per unit. And then you'll apply the formula. And then at the end, you'll arrive at 490,000 for fixed cost. Right. And then one thing again that you must pay attention to is that when you are given a condition there that fixed cost will increase, or in this condition, just like here, when you come and apply this high and low method, and then you find that, okay, in this case, it's 9 Rand variable cost per unit. And then now you want to find that how much is the total variable cost. Then you're supposed to say the variable cost per unit multiplied by the units. In this case, because they said that there is an increase in the units, it will be wrong for you to go and take the high of the units. So meaning that to avoid yourself confusing, like having to do a lot of calculations, and that will end up confusing you, and then maybe sometimes you won't even have time to do all that. Just focus, just take the low of the units. And then in this case, you'll just come and take the 3,000 units, 30,000, I mean, multiplied by the 9 Rand. The reason why we are not using the high of the units is because there's a condition there on the high. So most of the time, try to avoid taking an amount that is, the units or kilometers, because as so far for accounting 2542, we've dealt with the units and kilometers. Maybe sometimes they can even give you kilograms. Try to avoid taking something that is having a condition because it will confuse you going forward. Right. So if you're given the high and then it's having a condition, try to avoid using it when you come to your application of the high and low method, and then you want to find the fixed cost. And then even if it's the low, because sometimes they can say that the low, maybe they tell you that any condition actually, they say as long as it's having a condition, try to not use those units when you apply. When you want to find the variable cost, the total variable cost, do not use units that are having a condition, right? I hope you get that one. So if you can check the solution, right, to show that it's not one way to do it, you can use another way. Then they say that there's an alternative. The alternative, it should give you the same answer in the end. You cannot have an alternative that gives you another answer. It will be wrong in that case. So whatever you do, you just make sure that it gives you the same answer. But then as for test purpose, you will not have that time. So choose the best that you think yourself you can master it and then understand it. When you go to test or it's an exam, you are able to apply that method and you're able to be sure that it's correct. Yeah, and you can be able to even, if maybe you made some mistake there, you can even be able to go and claim those marks and be like, okay, maybe just, yeah, forgive me, then I made a mistake, and then I wanted to do something that you can explain actually. Between these two methods, the first one and then the alternative, choose the one that you can understand better. So myself, I chose to explain number 1. So if you want to, I'll send this to you. If you want to do number 2 and then you understand it better, that would be fine also. As long as you can explain something, because that's important at the end of the day. So that's how you do it. And then, okay, getting the fixed cost, now it's applying the formula, which the formula is total cost plus variable cost is equals to fixed cost. Then you'll interchange the formula until you get to your total fixed cost. In this case, it was 490,000. And then 490,000, yeah, that's the fixed cost. So now, apart from this, okay, this question, it was saying that calculate for 36,000 units, right? So now ask yourself, what was going to happen if, how are you going to get the answer? Which answer are you going to get if they said that calculate the total cost at an activity level of, let's say 50,000 units? Because this one, if you can check, 36,000, it's between the high and the low. So what if they said calculate for 50,000 units, of which 50,000 is above even the high? So what was going to happen? What was going to happen is that there was going to be no need for you to even minus that 18,000, because the units that we are dealing with, they are supposed to already include that increment of the fixed cost of 18,000, because they said that it increases if the production exceeds 40,000. So if now it's 50,000, already you've exceeded 40,000, then there's no need for you to come and say minus the 18,000. You're just going to apply the high and low without minusing anything, right? So if again they said calculate the total cost at an activity level of 20,000, meaning that 20,000 it's less than the low, even the low. So in that case, you're going to apply the same thing, because you believe that it's less than, obviously. So it means that if you'll be guided by the amount actually, because in this case they say that if it exceeds 40,000, meaning that in any activity level that they can say calculate, and then you find that that activity level exceeds 40,000 even itself, then there's no need for you to calculate to minus the increment actually of the fixed cost. But then if you find that the increment, the activity level is less than the amount in this, the amount of units in this case, it's 40,000, then you'll have to minus. So that's where it can be. That's why it can be. And then do not get confused on that. So in this case, okay. Yeah, in this case, can you unmute your mics? And then if you want to ask, you can ask concerning 2.4 before we move to 2.5. Part A, 2.4. Okay, yeah. If you do not understand anything there, or maybe you have a question, and not only concerning this part, this 2.4, just high and low in general, that maybe yourself you've been practicing, then you find a different situation, then you can say that situation now and then share with us, and then we see. Yeah, because even as we cannot look at all the question papers and then we find different situations, then we come and address here. So you guys, you study differently, you study different times, different things. So if you had a situation, can you please share with us that situation that maybe you came across concerning the high and low method, so that we can talk you through it, and then by that, doing that, everyone will be helped, because at the end of the day, we all need to know, and then everyone is going to write. So yeah. Okay, so you guys are all fine. All right, then we move. Let's move to 2.5. Okay, then 2.5 now. Okay, in 2.5, what's happening here? We are given XY LTD. They say that has been okay. I see someone saying that can you do last year test one high and low? Okay, before we go to labor, we will do that one. Yes, my okay. Yeah, we'll do that one before we go to labor. I see you there. We'll do that one of last year. So okay. Now we are given 2.5. We are given that XYACT have been reviewing its total cost over the last few periods and has established the following. Period 1, 2, 3. And then I said this, that you can be given more than 2 periods actually. You can be even given the whole year if the question paper is giving space for them to put that. So in this case, you're given 3 periods, but then I said to you, because it's the high-low method, it only focuses on the high and the low, right? So it doesn't matter if maybe the high is, in this case, if you can check the high and low, it's 2 and 3. So do not be surprised that why is it not 1 and or what? Don't try to create your own situations. The situation are already given. So period 1, 2, 3. The sales are given. In this case, you are dealing with sales and the total cost, right? So this cost, you can assume that it's cost of sales or okay, sales units. Yeah, it's cost of sales. You sell these units, and then you incur this cost of sales. So meaning that if even you sell 450 units, then the cost of sales is going to be 4,600. You sell 300 units, the cost of sale is going to be 3,000. You sell 700, the cost of sale is going to be 5.6. So that's how it is. So they say, okay, then now we are said that the company is aware that the fixed cost increased by 1,000 when the sales exceeds 4,000. Same scenario. Now we are given that the cost of sales or the fixed cost, meaning that this cost of sale, it compromises of fixed and variable cost. So in this case, given that the fixed cost increases by 1,000 when the sales increases 400 units, then 400, if you can check the 400 again, it's in between. The highest of the units is 700. The low is 300, meaning that we are only focusing on period 2 and 3. Period 2 was the lowest. Period 3 was the highest. So now you focus on period 2 and 3, and then now they say that the fixed cost will increase by 1,000 if we exceed 400 units. Then we already did that because 700 is greater than 400. So calculate the total cost at the sales level of 360. 360 is going to be between the high and low. The low is 300, the high is 700, then 360 is somewhere in between there. So what do you do now? You do the same thing as in what we're doing on on the other one. What you have to do, you have to come and say on the highest. So in this case, it's never mind this part. Let me hide this part before we get confused, because it's something else. So on the highest, you'll go and say the cost at the activity level of 700, because that's where we exceeded the 400 units. 5,600 minus 1,000. That's what they did here. You can see that they said this 5,600 minus 1,000. Then now the new cost of the highest is going to be 4.6. Then now you can come and do your high and low table, then which is going to be 700 units minus this one. Then you get the units difference and then the cost, and then you'll apply your high and low method until you get your fixed cost. So I believe that there is no one having a problem with applying the high and low method, because yeah, I think the trick can be which cost that you are supposed to use actually is the highest and the lowest. Hence, we are going to, yeah, let me be opening that one of last year so that we can at least have an example that is kind of hard in being able to identify the highest and the lowest. Yeah, I'm opening that one net. Is it Karabo? Yeah, I think it's you, Karabo, that one. So I'm opening that one that you are saying that we must do it. Question high and low. Yeah, it was question 2 of last year. So I'm on that one right now. I'm opening that one. It will show soon on your screen. Do not worry. Yes, it's opened. Then let me come and share it now with you guys. Yes. Then let me cancel this one and then share. Yes. Can you be able to see the suggested solution screen? Yeah. Can you see the test? 30 March 2019. Can you see that one? Yeah, not. I mean, are you able to see the screen now? The test that I'm sharing. Because okay, we are doing another question 2. Let me move to question 2 first on the. Okay. That's bad. Okay, let me first on the. Yes. Okay, then I come to. Okay. Okay. Then I'm there. Okay. All right, let me go to the question. So in this case, you will give a company called Mvundi. Yeah, I'll pronounce it using my home language. It's Mvundi in isiZulu. So they say that Mvundi Pty Ltd owns a fleet of 5 AMG. Okay, let's not focus on the type of cars. Okay, they own 5 motor vehicles, which are used by its managerial staff. The company approached you for insurance cost, advice on insurance cost, right? So they they approached you to advise them on an insurance cost. All right, okay, then further reading information, it says that they currently have insurance. So they were having cars, they were currently having the insurance. So what's up with the current insurance? Okay, the current insurance is the name of the current insurance. It's your insurance, and Mvundi pays a fixed monthly premium of 1,300 per vehicle. So this current insurance, they just pay, it's what we know actually. If you are paying old mutual or you are paying whatsoever that you are paying, you just pay that amount that you are paying. If it's 450 for your Polo, that's what you are going to pay. So that's the normal circumstance that you know. Then they are paying more, and they are paying 1.3 per month per vehicle. Then they are having 5 vehicles, right? So you can calculate. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. I have to be checking if you guys are sending, because I have to be checking the messages. Maybe I'm mute or whatsoever. I don't know what about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi can just go here. So, Okay, they're having 5 vehicles, they're paying 1.3, that's fine. Then calculate that. I'm sure it's it was 5. Okay, let me calculate. 1.3 times 5, it's 6.5. So they are paying 6.5 per month. No? And then the financial manager, however, received a quote from another insurance company, which is Unisure, its name. And then to insure the vehicles based on a fixed plus a statistically determined rate per kilometer. So that fixed plus statistically determined is there to confuse again. Actually, the information is saying that on a fixed plus a variable, then the variable is determined by the kilometers that are driven by the vehicle. So meaning that there will be a fixed amount that you're going to pay per vehicle, right? So that fixed amount, they are trying to avoid, surely they are trying to avoid that if you do not use the vehicle paid during that month, then by the end of the day, you are supposed to pay. So that's what they were trying to do in this case. So these people, you will be insured on a fixed plus a statistically determined kilometer. Okay, that's fine. So the new insurance code goes as follows. The monthly premium, the monthly fixed premium will be 875 per vehicle, irrespective of the kilometers traveled, right? So if you just pack your vehicle, you don't use it, you'll still pay 875. Okay. Guys, can you hear me? I see someone asking that is this class still on or I'm the one. Okay, let me reply this person. So while I'm replying, so it means that even if you do not use your vehicle, you'll pay this amount. All right, then they are given now the following estimates of the total insurance premium obtained from the potential new insurer, Unisure. Then in this case of Unisure, okay, it's better if you can hear me. I thought maybe you can't. So, so in this case of Unisure, that they say that yeah, already on your information, they told you that you are going to pay the variable amount based on the kilometers that you are going to travel. But then in this case, they give you, or on your information again, they gave you how many brackets of kilometers. They gave you 800, 1.5, 1.9, and 2.5. So they gave you 4 just to confuse again. So if you are someone who's going to write test 1, who is unit 1 to 4, obviously you know that the high and low is part of the test, right? So when you're using the high and low method, you do not focus on everything that happens, but then you focus on the high and the low. So in this case, these kilometers and then the insurance premium, you're just supposed to, oh, we were just, because even myself I was part of this, and then, but I did not see. So you are supposed to just focus on the high and the low. So in this case, if you check, you are given the kilometers and then you're given the insurance premium. So again, as for the high and low method, you focus on the high and low after you've been able to identify your independent and your dependent variable. So even in this case, it's quite clear that you cannot have the insurance premium per kilometer as for kilometers when you did not travel the kilometers. So it means that the premium depends on the kilometers, right? So we'll say that, okay, the premium is dependent of the kilometers. Then the kilometers are independent because they have to be there first so that we can have the premium. So, okay, after doing that, we conclude that, okay, therefore, the number of kilometers will be independent. The insurance premium per month will be, okay. Someone is saying that they can't see the screen. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Okay, guys, the others, can you see the screen? Okay. Kudani. Ish. Okay, at Kudani, you will. I'm recording this, right? So the recording Kudani, the recording that will appear will be having the Nanjani. Will have the screen as it appears, so you'll be able to see that. Or let me, I don't know what I can do, because okay, let me try and do this. Yeah. Kudani, you can cancel and then you join again. I think you can be able to see proper, because yeah, even here I can't see you on those people who are attending on it. I can't. Yes, while we're waiting for Kutani to join, she can still find the recording, it's fine. So yeah, let's be moving because it's already one. So so okay, the number of kilometers, then okay, we said that the number of kilometers will be independent and then your insurance will be dependent, right? So you only focus on the high and the low because you're using the high and low method, right? So if you check the low that you are given, it's going to be 800 kilometers with an insurance premium of 875. And then the high that you are given is going to be 2.5 with an insurance premium of 1,725, right? So, okay, the financial manager is considering changing the insurer to Unisure, but he is not sure whether it will be beneficial for Mfundi or PTY Ltd, right? But then before you even go to this insurance and additional information, just apply your high and low method firstly, because you have the information that you are going to need. So what are you supposed to do? Oh, the screen is hiding things now. I wonder why. There you go. Okay, let me try and do this. And then I shift this to the side. Kudani, are you winning somewhere there? Can we cancel this window? Yes. So now, yeah, I think Kutan is not kind of part of the meeting. So, okay, then. Yeah, Kutan, to try to find another way of looking. Okay, so to do your high and low method, right? So you have to, yeah, there it is. There it is. Firstly, you have the fixed insurance premium from the current insurer that you pay the fixed amount of 1.3 per vehicle. So you cannot ignore that. You have to come and just, and it was even 2 months for that matter. So you come and say 5 multiplied by 1.3 to get 6.5. It was given, but then it's 2 months. Then, lucky you. So now you have to come to the high, and then this formula again, I always say it, this formula must not confuse. It must not confuse people. This formula is total cost plus fixed plus variable cost per unit multiplied by unit. This X, you're going to put brackets on the space of X and then put the units that you'll be dealing with, right? So plus this C is standing just to total cost. So This formula, it's up to you which one you decide to use, but then this one must not confuse you because it seems like it's Metsinyana, but it's not that much serious. So when you come and do your table now for your high and low method, you're supposed to come and say, okay, focus on the high and low. Okay. I don't know how we got here to this. Okay. Up, down. It's moving fast. Okay, then question 2, here we are. So you only focus on the high and the low. So if you check the high, you're given it's 2.5 for independent. You said that the kilometers are independent, 2.5. Then you will take your 2.5 kilometers independent, 2.5. The low, 800. 800, here is your 800. Then the coast, your high, it's 1,275. There you have it, 1,725. And then your low is going to be 875. And then there you have it. Simple as that. Nothing was different. Hence, that's why I was saying that for you guys, the thing that becomes the challenge, it's not applying the high and low method. It's seeing the cost as which one is to take as the high, which one is to take as the low. Most of these cases, that's the information that will be confusing. And most of the time you'll find that from that high or the low, you have to add or minus. So that's where it becomes, for like, even if people do it wrong, but then you'll find that after they complete the table, then they say this is the high and the low. Then the application will go fine, going down to the solution, to the answer, and then to the fixed cost. But then the problem is identifying the high and the low and putting the correct amount to your table. So I think that's where it is. And then in this case, it was not hard because you were given the kilometers. Do not mind this 875 where they say that it will be fixed, because you might think that, okay, there's no longer a need for you to do the high and low method because you're already given the fixed cost. All right, let me check. Because you're already given the fixed cost, right? So you just have to apply the high and low method. That's why I always say again when we are in class that please, when you are writing, just try to apply the formula and actually not the formula you can change it, that's fine. But then apply the please apply the apply the principle actually, because if I remember last year, after we failed this test, most of us, they just decided that, okay, they're going to mark according to principle. If you were able to realize that, okay, you have to take the high and minus the low, then you're just going to get a mark, even if you took the wrong amount as the high and as the low. So as long as you applied the Nangzanen, the test can be moving as long as you apply the formula, I mean the principle, that will be fine. So even in this case, you just have to apply the high and low method, right? So on your solution, there it is. Then going down, we can't explain that. As I said, a lot of people, almost everyone is able to take it from there, because you will simply say the 850 divided by kilometers, meaning that the difference of the cost divided by the difference of the kilometers, then you get your variable cost per unit, then total cost. There, everyone is good on doing that. So at the end, that you find that your fixed cost was 475, right? And then your variable cost per unit was 50 cents per kilometer. So now going to the required. So the required is that calculate and conclude whether it will be more beneficial for Mfundi Ltd or PTY Ltd to pay a fixed monthly premium. The fixed monthly premium that they are talking about is that amount at the top that they pay a fixed of 1.3 per vehicle on while they're having 5 vehicles. Then we find that the amount is 6.5. So now the required is saying that calculate and conclude whether it's better to stick on that or to change and pay on the new one where they will pay on a fixed plus the amount of kilometers that they traveled, right? So now you are given the conditions. Condition 1, which is A on your question, is that the vehicles will travel. 3 vehicles out of the 5 will travel at 2,000 kilometers, right? And then the remaining will travel at 1,300 kilometers, right? So now what we have to do, you have to go back to your formula on the solution. You already calculated that the fixed cost is 475, right? And then your variable cost is 50 cents per unit. Then applying in this case, it's going to be easy because you already know that, okay, then variable cost per kilometer is 50 cents. And then you're dealing with how many kilometers? 2,000 kilometers in this case for the 3 vehicles. Focus, you move with it step by step. Do not try to just calculate for the 5 vehicles at once because they do not travel the same kilometers. So that's another thing that you just need to be careful of. Do not try to calculate collectively. Do it step by step. Take your time, step by step. So the vehicles, 3 of them, they traveled 2,000 kilometers at 0.5, which is 50 cents per kilometer. Then you will multiply 0.5 to the 2,000 vehicles plus the fixed cost, right? The fixed cost, one that now you've calculated from the high and low method, not the fixed cost of 875 that you were given as part of your information there, right? So I think that was another trick that was there. Or can you be able to see what you've calculated, or you'll doubt it and then go and quote what you've been given there? So you were given that it's 875, but then now when you calculate, you find that it's 475. So stick to what you've calculated. If you're going to say that the variable cost is 0.5 per kilometer from the high and low method that you've calculated, also take the fixed from the high and low method. Do not lose focus and then go and quote at the top. So you'll get that, okay, 0.5 multiplied by 2,000 is that amount plus the fixed cost of 475. Then you'll get this amount. And then the amount that you're going to get there, it's only for one vehicle. Then you'll just say that one vehicle traveled 2,000 kilometers, right? And then on that one vehicle that traveled 1,000 kilometers, we are looking at how many vehicles that traveled 2,000 kilometers. 3. Then you'll say that amount that you got multiplied by 3, as you can see on your solution. Then they said multiply by 3 vehicles, then you get a total of 4,425. Then this means that the vehicles that traveled 2,000 kilometers, they will pay 4,425, 3 of them. And then when 3 of them are going to pay this, and then we're having a total of 5 vehicles, then the question now is that how much are the remaining, the 2 vehicles are going to pay? Then go and check your condition on your, okay, on your required. Okay, the 3 are going to travel 3,000 at 2,000 kilometers, and then the remaining 2, they wrote the remaining vehicles each travel. So it was your duty to know that the remaining 2. So the remaining 2 were going to travel at 1,300 kilometers. So 1,300 kilometers, it's the same application. 0.5 per kilometer variable cost, and then multiply by the kilometers plus the fixed cost. And then the amount that you're going to get there, it's going to be the amount of one vehicle. And then how many vehicles traveled at 1,300 kilometers? There are 2. Then you'll go and say that amount multiplied by 2. Then you'll get your total of 2,275, right? So now you have that, okay, the 3 vehicles will travel at 4,425, and then the 2 will travel at 2,250, right? And then we are dealing with 5 vehicles, you just want the total, right? So you'll take this amount when you want the total, and then you have separately there and there, then you just combine. And then when you combine, you'll be able to get your total there. And then if you you check this total because it's in each and every business. That's why you will see advertisements that we save you there and what. It's because they're trying to attract, because they know that everyone wants to pay less. So even this business, the aim is to pay less on the insurance premium, right? So if you check now, you got that, okay, on this new one, the fixed plus variable, you can pay 6,675 on the conditions that we're given. But then still on the same conditions, if you're using the fixed, you're going to pay 6.5. Then you compare now. Obviously, 6,675 is greater than 6,500, right? So the conclusion here, it's formal and it's formal and it's right. But then it's up to you. How do you want to conclude? Some of us, we like to write. So if when you feel like writing and summarizing what you calculated, it's fine as long as it's summarizing. And actually, as long as it's saying what you wrote, you cannot write a conclusion that is just out of nowhere, like a conclusion that actually will just say that you wrote everything and then you decided to copy the conclusion from someone, and then that person just wrote a totally different thing, and then we see you now, you concluded on something that you did not even get and you calculate. So your conclusion, basically, it has to support what you calculated, even if it's wrong, what you calculated. Then the conclusion must support at least that, okay, this is what it is that I calculated, and then I believe this, based on my calculations, I believe this. Hence, you see that this conclusion is having one principal mark, meaning that it doesn't matter. It's not according to the memo. It's according to you. When, how do you see it? So, yeah, you can be wrong, and then you get that principal mark for the conclusion. It's your opinion. It's what you're advising on. So, in this case, A, you will say that it's more beneficial to pay a fixed one because, yeah, it's less. Then we go and look at condition B. So condition B is saying that the vehicles, two of them will travel at 600 kilometers, and then the remaining will travel at 2,000. So meaning that two will travel at 600, the other three, because we're dealing with 5, will travel at 2,000. So 600, and then what do you do if it was 600? Then in this information, you can see it starts with 800, not 600, meaning that 600 is outside the scope. Actually, it's not even budgeted, it's not even thought of, or maybe someone can travel less than that. But then on your information there, just before required, it says note, if the kilometers are outside the relevant range of 800 kilometers, the minimum rate of 875 should be used. So if you travel less than 800 kilometers, the minimum rate of 875 should be used. And then if you check the minimum rate, it's equal to the fixed cost that we given there as the required. Then now you can see why were you given that. It means that if the kilometers that are traveled are less than what you've been given there, then it simply means that you do not apply the high and low method, but then you quote the cost that were given there. So in this case, the vehicles that travel at 600, meaning that each will pay 875. Then 875 multiplied by the vehicles. How many vehicles were there? There are 2 vehicles, right? So the 2 vehicles will travel at 600. Then you'll simply say 875 for the 2 vehicles multiplied by 2. Then you'll get the amount. Then the remaining vehicles, the 3 vehicles will travel at 2,000. And then we already, at the beginning, we calculated that 3 vehicles will travel at 2,000. And then we got that the cost, it's going to be 4,425, right? So you can quote or you can calculate again. But then if you calculate again, you are just supposed to apply the same issue, same thing, that 0.5 per kilometer multiplied by kilometers, which are 2,000 plus 475. That's where you will be. Then apply your y. Okay, then at the end, it's supposed to give you the answer 1,475 per vehicle, then multiplied by 3, it's going to give you 4,225, right? So in that case, you will come and take that amount and then you write it here. And then because you want for 5 vehicles, then now you have for 2 vehicles and 3 vehicles, then you add the 2 amounts. 1,775 for the 2 vehicles and then 4,425 for the 3. And then it should give you 6,175. That was condition number B. And then after getting condition number B, then now you have to come and apply on your conclusion again. You conclude. It's up to you again. You don't have to conclude on one line, because you'll try to conclude on one line and try to shortcut your English there, and then it ends up not making sense, because some of us, we talk proper when we explain what we are trying to say, not when we are being specific. So even yourself, just know yourself. If you are able to just shortcut things, then do that. But then if you know that you cannot pin straight to things, explain. Yeah. So in this case, they just compared, okay, the fixed, you are going to pay 6.5. And then this one, condition number B, you find that you're going to pay 6,175. So it means that 6.5 of the fixed is greater than the one that you're going to pay. So now you can decide and say, okay, it's better to pay the fixed plus the variable, because I'll be paying fixed one. So conclusion must be based, again, it's a principal mark there. So conclusion must be based on calculations, right? So yeah, that was question 2 of the high and low method last year. And then one thing again that you must understand, if the kilometers, they said that the kilometers maybe that we traveled, maybe some vehicles they traveled 2.6 kilometers, then you can ask yourself, what was going to happen? Obviously, if that was the case, then they're going to write something as in like note, if, yeah. So is in this case, they told you about less, then they gave you. So what I'm trying to say is that when you write a test or exam, actually that's the situation, that's the problem. Those problems that are there are enough for you to try and answer them. So do not try to create problems, because you'll end up creating a question paper honors for yourself in your head, and then it becomes hard. So can you come to the comment there when you're writing comments, that are you fine with the high and low method last year, or you need to ask anything concerning that? Yes, high and low method, comment section there, high and low method last year, are you fine with that, or you wanna ask something concerning that? And actually the high and low method, because is okay, the high and low method, just in general, all of it. Is there any question maybe that you did and then you find that maybe it's hard or you do not understand? You can ask. Yes, comments. Okay, even if you are fine, you can write there on those comments that okay, we can move on. Okay, let me come here. Yes. Okay, let me. All right, I see someone saying that we can move on. All right, then let's move on. But then we are now okay. We are not actually doing the question, but then all right, good done. We're now a first kid. We were suffering now about winning, but then we are moving. I like the spirit. Okay, let me share something there. Okay, it takes time to share, but then hopefully this time it will be quick. I was not supposed to cancel. Okay. Okay, test one, then into okay, then open this one. Yes, I'm opening something that I think it's open. Yes, can you see this one? I don't know. Oh no. No. Okay, wait, it's coming. Yes, this one. Can you see the screen of question 3 at C? Yes, question 3 part C. So, yeah. Okay, let me read. Okay, question 3 part C, it was labor. Okay, 6 marks, doesn't have a lot of marks. Then, yeah, but then 6 marks out of 50, it's 12% that one. So, concerning labor, what you must come to understand is that labor, okay, it starts where a company employs people, and then those people, they are supposed to get paid, right? They're expecting something from that company. And then in this case of labor, because it's managerial accounting, so managerial accounting is all about calculating the production cost. So you need to calculate how are those people actually getting paid. So in the case of your textbook and everything, there are methods there, unit method, and then the time. Yeah, I think there are 2 methods. It's the time and the units. Right? So on the time-based one, it's like you just assume that okay, someone they work 8 hours a day. So in these 8 hours, then per hour they get this kind of an amount. So should the person exceed 8 hours a day, that will be considered as overtime. So usually overtime time is paid more than the normal time. So if someone works more hours, right, it means that usually you'll find that they say that overtime it's more, it's a 1.5 of the normal wage. So it means that if it's 100 rand, then overtime would be 150 plus the 50 rand of the half. Or it's 2 times, then if the normal time it's 100 rand, then overtime will be 200. So those are the typical things that you'll find concerning labor. So, but then those calculations are simple. Calculations are labor, they're simple. What you need to understand is that the question can ask you that calculate labor, actually salaries. In the case of employees, or one employee, they cannot give you 10 employees. One employee, where they say that calculate that maybe employee, how much is employee A going to get at the end of the month? So in that case, they are actually asking you that calculate the net salary that will be paid to employee A, right? So calculating net salary, you will use that table that it was on this solution is there. This kind of a table. Yeah, this table. So you'll calculate like this, then normal wages, overtime, gross, what, less deductions, and then, and then you get to your normal wages, right? These people are going to get this kind of an amount at the end of the day. Or they can change it and be like, calculate the total of the salaries that are going to be paid, actually wages that are going to be paid by the company at the end of the month. That's where maybe you can get, then the calculations are still the same basically, but then if the company is the one that we are dealing with now, understand that the company pays, if your salary, you are supposed to be earning 4,000 a month, maybe you worked 40 hours, then that amount equals to 40,000. The company will pay that amount, all of it out. But then because of the things that exist, the tax and stuff and what, they will not pay to you all of it. yourself will have deductions, but then on the company, those deductions, they do not mean that the company will not pay you your full gross amount. So the company will take deductions from you, but at the end of the day, they will pay them to the relevant stakeholders or medical aid or your trade union or staff or whatsoever that when you decided to join. Just when they are an agent, actually, they deduct and then they pay, making things easy, right? So what happens when they deduct money from employees' salary? They keep that money. They do not deduct it and forward, actually, deduct and forward. But then they'll keep that money for maybe a month, or it depends on when are they going to pay it to those companies that offer those services. So when they deduct that amount, it does not become their amount, actually. They cannot take that amount and use it. So they have to take it and store it to pay it, right? So if you take something that is not yours to pay it in future or maybe tomorrow, you cannot then now come and classify that thing that this thing is an asset to you, because those are reasons of not classifying something as an asset, because you do not have control over it, so to say. So it means that these people, they are acknowledging what? A provision. Call it a provision, because they are planning that, okay, they're taking this money, but then they're going to pay it in future. That future can be tomorrow, the quickest, or even today later. But then the moment they have to acknowledge that they took something from someone that it does not belong to them. So what is going to happen when they do that? I was trying to open this other paper, but then it's not opening quickly. Then it's going to open, but then we'll see to that what's going to happen. If only you are told that you are dealing with the employees, this is what's going to happen. You just calculate the net, which is the normal way, right? But then if now with the companies, you are dealing with the companies side, I don't know why it's not opening, but then it's coming. If now you're dealing with the company side, yes. Now it's loading. So if you're dealing with the company side, it simply means that whatever they take from the employees, it does not belong to them, right? So whatever they'll be taking as the contributions, that's a liability. And when you're dealing with the company side, that's where you'll be asked that you must create a ledger, journals, journals and ledger, it's kind of the same thing, but then journals, when they say create the journals, then it means that you are going to create, saying that it's not responding, I wonder why. Okay, so they will tell you that create the journal. So what are you going to do? Okay. Rough. Okay, you are going to take the amount that you're supposed to pay as the gross income, right? And then you calculate your deductions. And then from those deductions, because normally they will tell you that the employer contributes 1% or R1 for R1 for medical aid. When you're calculating for the company, even those deductions, those contributions, you have to include them when you do that, those ledgers, because even them, you are putting them aside to pay for medical aid if you're contributing for medical aid. So you just include everything that concerns salaries, deductions from employee, from employer, you include them. You add them. If they were for medical aid, you add them over medical aid. You do not mix with the UIF and stuff. So I think that, okay, let me that's the thing. I cannot override this thing, and then okay. Then I'm coming to open. I'll share the screen shortly. But then that's what I want to show you, the channels, how they are. But then they are not difficult. They are easy. They will never change. Those are the easy marks, and it's a lot of marks that are easy to do. But then when you try to, takes a lot of time to explain, but then a short time to cram and actually apply. It's coming. Yes, it's loading now. It's loading. No, it's refusing. Refuses the rate. Okay, let me open the slide. Unit 3. It has to be quick because unit 3, I think PowerPoint will work fine rather than these other apps that are just too slow to respond. I wonder why. Okay. Sure. Yeah. No, guys, it's just like totally refusing. So I don't know why I can do, but then how you treat that, it's good. Okay, you simply come and say debit. Oh, you simply come and say credit all your your deductions plus each and every deduction. You must open a bracket. Deduction from employee plus the contribution from employer, and then you credit all that as the provision that you are going to pay those things in the future or even tomorrow or even later, because it depends on the time. So the time can be even just that day. Yeah, I think this PowerPoint is responding. Yeah, but then even it says, hey, okay, yeah, I think PowerPoint, yeah, respond. Let me come here and share the screen. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, there we are. So I hope you guys can see the screen, this PowerPoint presentation. So it's unit 3, but then I only want the slide where they did the journals. So these ones, they never come. No, they're just for there for you guys to know. Okay, on the slide where slide 16. No. Oh, yeah. There we are. Can you all see this slide that I just shared right there? Yes, you can come that side of comment section and then you write if you can see the slide. But then I shared a slide. It's slide number 30, slide number 63 of unit 3. So in case, what I'm saying is that if you are dealing with the employer, this is what you're supposed to. All the net salary, okay, fine. Net salary, including all the deductions and the contributions. If you check pension, they said that open brackets, it means that this 16.88 is the employee's deduction plus the 11.25, which is the employer's contribution. So medical aid, this medical aid in UIF, if you can see this 13 plus 13, it simply means that for everything that the employee pays, the employer will contribute the same amount. In the UIF, that's the case. So the first channel that you'll do, you'll debit payroll expense, right? But that payroll expense will be the balancing figure. Then you'll go and say credit everything, net salary plus deductions, including employer's contribution. And then the second channel J2 will be for you to come and reverse this channel. If you check, there's nothing that changed. You just took your net salary, pension, medical aid, and UIF and side to debit side because now you are paying it. And then you credit bank because you only pay from the bank. So that's it. As for the employer, we can only be given this thing as an employer or employee. Employee is simple, the table. Employer, this is what you have to do. You just J1, it's important to pay concentration there. J2, there's no need for you to concentrate on anything. Just swap the channels, and then your payroll expense will change to be bank because at first at J1 you were doing a provision for payroll expense that I'm going to pay this amount, and then J2 you are now paying, and then you pay from the bank. So yes, you'll be done in that case. So full marks for just doing this. Understand that on the credit side, everything that you're supposed to pay, net salary obviously you're supposed to pay it, pension you're supposed to pay it, including the contribution. So that will be a solution to the problem that will be given there. So yeah, something else that can come 5-4 and weighted average. It's part of unit 3, but then I've never seen a question paper that is having 5-4 or weighted average. I don't know, maybe because this one is going to be a home thing. Maybe it's going to be there, but then even if it's going to be there, it's not that it's not even hard. 5-4 things and weighted average. So you guys can surely do that. And then for those accounts of material, work in progress, cost of finished goods and stuff, you just have to understand from material that the accounts, they work hand in hand until hand in hand until the end. The other one will become the contra entry of the other one until you finish. So again, I've never seen a question paper with that, and then I can't say much. But then if it comes, even that test you are writing it at home, we won't be having any invigilator. Communication will not be closed by anyone, so we can talk about that even when you are writing. So yeah, as for today, high and low labor, I think it's time for you guys to ask if you want to ask, because seen from my side, time we still have it, and actually still seated, so you can unmute there, and if you want to ask, you can ask. Yes, then tomorrow it will be relevant costing, and then I'll try to I'll find new questions that we've never done, so that we can actually find new problems on that one, because and then explain it only it the whole time, because that one needs time actually. So yeah, we'll focus on relevant costing tomorrow, same time, same platform. Yes. team at 12:15, yeah. So yeah, for now you can unmute and ask if unga somewhere, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me come to this other side of yes, check the comment section there. Okay, guys, I think. Okay, let me check. Oh yes. We can. How about we do questions and answering tomorrow? Yes, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Myself, exactly. Okay, maybe 5 minutes past 12, because even myself, I sometimes hotspot myself on the PC, so I need to make sure that I'm using night data. So I'll be at exactly 12. I will share a question on the screen, right? And then you do that question, and then if it's 5 to 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, then 5 past, then 25 past, then we start talking about it. That's not a problem. Yes, you're right there. How about also doing it for tomorrow? Unit 4. Okay. Because according to me, Unit 4, we're going to do it on Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning, which is, I think it's Wednesday, so to say. But then it will, honestly, on Unit 4, it will depend. Because now you guys have to write and then discuss. So if the question that I will give for you relevant costing, you guys are moving fast, then it means I'll just take one example for Unit 4. I'll have it prepared so that if we're able to move fast, then we can also do that one of Unit 4. So yeah, Unit 4, I'll consider that I'll prepare something for tomorrow. Yes. Question, as for writing for 15 to 20, yes. First thing when we start tomorrow, I'll share a question for you guys to write before we discuss and show you the solution. Yeah, okay, anything? All right, guys, then that's it's already morning. Good morning. Yeah. Yeah, you sleep in the morning, so good morning. Oh, yes. I'll send that question papers in memo. Yeah, don't worry. I'll send. But in the morning, because yeah, now I'll have to cope, and then this laptop is having its own issues sometimes. Can take. Yeah, I'll send first thing in the morning. I'll send. So yeah, Have a good morning. Have a good morning sleep. Yeah. From my side, yeah. Let's meet tomorrow. I'll send the questions. Yes.